We're rolling.
Hi everyone.
How's it going?
So we quit our jobs.
Yeah, big news. If everyone is watching, there's a big story coming out right now. We don't have any plans. We decided that we need to take a new step in our lives, and we don't have a plan. That's the funniest thing of all. Everyone is saying, no, don't quit your job in 2024, lots of layoffs, but we're taking the risk because what's the meaning of life if not having adventures? If you spend your life doing what everyone is telling you to do, you'll be just a corporate drone or whatever that
Yeah,
the
it's just
government
not
tells you to do.
it's not worth it.
Yeah. So nowadays, the newest generation, the Gen Zs, are fed up with corporate culture, and that paradigm of working 30 years until you retire is over. Especially in the first world, there's not loyalty from the employee or from the employer, especially in free markets where you can get laid off in an instant. You have to take care of yourself, otherwise, nobody will do it for you.
Yeah, because these companies they make you think, they make you feel even that they care, but they don't really care.
Yeah, and I learned this watching YouTube videos, especially. I follow a YouTuber called Joshua Fluke, and he said when you're looking for a job and in the job description it says we're a family, that's a big red flag. A job is just a way to sustain your living. It shouldn't become your family. That's totally separate. Companies use that family thing to make you work harder so that you don't set boundaries
Yeah, it's
between
really
home
toxic.
and work. Yeah, they want you to be a workaholic without having social life. And the moment that you start dropping your performance, you will get canned instantly. So if you surpass some expectations the first semester, on your first performance review, they will say, okay, this is the new baseline, and then you will have to work more. It's a never-ending cycle, and they will squeeze you until the point you can't perform anymore, and that's the moment when they get rid of you and they get a college graduate who's willing to work 80 hours a week for equity in startups or minimum wage. I don't know, but that's the game. It's all about profits, and especially in the tech sector, because I work there, there have been a lot of layoffs there. But the real reason is not because their profits, these companies' profits are at risk. No, they're just listening to what shareholders want, which is make more profits. And smaller companies take advantage of this trend of layoffs, and they'll say, okay, we got to do the same because there's a recession coming or whatever the excuse it is, and we have to get rid of you, or we won't give you the bonus that we promised you. But in the end, it's just an excuse so that they can make more profits.
Yeah, everything is about profit, really. We work remote. We work for US based companies, and these companies usually try to look for people on whether it's on the Philippines, I guess, and Latin America, to pay less because it's more affordable for them, and we make the same amount of work, sorry, for them. So from at least from my perspective, it's really unfair because they just try to pay you the less possible. They don't. I used to work for a real estate business on the US, and This person was making thousands and thousands each week, and I was helping this person to gain that much money, clients, whatever. I was a virtual assistant. So I was in charge of basically doing the paperwork and social media and all of that. And I I made her gain more followers, and I will follow up with her followers, all of that. And she didn't want to pay me more. She was making me do more and more work, not just for her, but for her team as well. And I mean, it's okay, I can do it, but it's extra work, you know? I didn't sign for this at the beginning. I didn't know I was going to work for five, six plus people. So I think it's fair that you pay me more because I'm working more, right? And I'm putting all of my effort, my time, and I'm doing multiple things at the same time. And I think my work is valuable, and I didn't feel I didn't feel that she appreciated that. It's not that for me, at least personally, uh, when it's about jobs, I feel like they should thank you with money because you're working to get money, right? You need to survive. It's not like thank you and that's it. You don't go there just to get a thank you. Nobody works for a thank you. So at the end, I was just so unmotivated, and also something that I hated is that, let's say, I'm gonna put an example of a month. Let's say for the whole month, I make her grow on social media, and the results were amazing and everything went well. But one day I made a mistake, so she will just poke at me with that mistake and not tell me, "Hey, thank you for the other 30 days that you made amazing, that you did good." Nothing. It was just that mistake that I did that just blew it, and now I don't deserve to get paid more. And it's really, really frustrating. It was really frustrating for me. I didn't feel motivated, as I said before, and I was working for her for more than a year, so I was waiting that when I worked for her for a year, she will just increase my payment, but that didn't happen. She just increased the work. And at the end, I was just, as he said before, I don't have a plan. So, but I just couldn't take it anymore because I think number one is my mental health. And I was getting so stressed about it. I just didn't want to deal with that. I had many opportunities that I said no to because of her. She didn't want me to work with anyone else. And to be honest with you, I just don't know why I didn't just say anything. It's just I was in a really uncomfortable situation all the time, so I just didn't know what to do. It was the first time that I worked as a virtual assistant, so now I have a lot of experience, of course, and I've learned a lot. But I think that, and you used to tell me, right? I'm pretty sure you can find something better.
Yeah, employers look for people who are desperate so that they can pay you the least. And in most cases, you don't have any other option. You cannot negotiate your salary. You're working for peanuts. And employers use different negotiation techniques, especially the one which involves focusing on your mistakes instead of the things that you do right to justify not giving you a raise. And anyways, they don't have any obligation to give you a raise. They can give you false promises, and year after year they keep you at your job, chasing the carrot, And at the end of the day, you never get that promised raise. But if you know that beforehand and understand that most employers act that way, you take care of yourself and look for opportunities all the time, because no job is secure. Even having a job is very dangerous, especially in free markets. If you get laid off at any moment and you didn't have any savings, you'll have a difficult time. You'll have to take loans, use your credit cards, and that's not a pretty place to be in. And well, speaking about remote jobs, the saddest thing about being employed by the first world, working in outsourcing companies, is that even if for their standards the pay that they give us is very low, for us it's a better deal than working for local companies. That's the power that the first world has, especially the US and Europe. The exchange rate, which I certainly believe that are rigged, all those exchange rates, starting from the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1945, which set the whole financial imperialism from the first world to poor countries, create a very unfair game in which all South American, African, Asian countries are at a disadvantage all the time. And in the first world, they can print all the money they want. The US is the nation that owes the most to the rest of the world. It's more than $30 trillion. I don't know the exact number, but it's more than $30 trillion. But when they use the the World Bank and the IMF, they will say to other countries, you cannot print more money as we do. You have to set these policies, these guidelines, if you want to keep receiving our loans, which create a dependency with us. So the game is rigged, but we don't have many other options, especially in terms of purchasing power. And they are using that until, the people in the first world are using that card until they cannot use it anymore. The US empire is crumbling, everyone knows that, but it is still a very powerful country. And people there are using the financial power to take advantage and increase their profits, to the point in which they prefer to hire people overseas instead of hiring US workers. And their own people are getting screwed up, and all in the name of increasing profits. That's the end game of globalization, right? You're competing against the whole world, and there will be always someone who's willing to do the same work for less. And I don't think that's beneficial. Back in the time, you had unions, you could negotiate good salaries. That's where the 8-hour work day came from. People unionized and asked for better wages. But now with globalization, companies can say, okay, you don't want to work for this amount, we can replace you in an instant with someone in the Philippines, as she said, in Eastern Europe, in South America, whatever you want. And things are changing so fast that we're going to the New World Order. I won't talk about the New World Order, but that's the final endgame that the elite want. It's to make it impossible for people in these first world countries to get jobs. And we're in this transition moment in which people from South America are getting those jobs, in Asia as well, but there's some migration trend as well. Millions of people are migrating from the South, from Central America, Mexico to the US. And the same thing is happening in North Africa. Muslims are migrating to Europe, and this is changing the whole landscape of political structures. In some decades, if people don't do anything, countries will disappear. Borders won't serve any purpose. We will be homogenized into a single culture, and this globalization trend is part of the game. At the end, the elites will say, countries don't serve any purpose anymore. We will have a single world government, and you will be under our control. We're getting automated. For the time being, we can get some jobs, and as a virtual assistant, translators. Well, I think translators are done with the AI. Now that you have real-time translations, you don't have many more jobs left. In 5-10 years, your only chance, unless you are a landowner and you have lots of investments in big companies, and you get those dividends to sustain your life, the only option you will have is to receive a payment from the government, the universal basic income, which sounds good on paper, but that will come at the cost of your freedom. If you don't do exactly as the government says, they will cut your payments and you won't be able to buy anything because all the jobs are automated. You're screwed. That's where we're heading at. But it looks like a dark picture. And
Okay, but why did you quit?
because I just want to do the opposite of what people say. The YouTube algorithm has been recommending me videos that talk about the tech layoffs, and the hidden messages: don't quit your job, the market is not good. But my intuition tells me, hey, all the time when I went against the current, things went well. If you follow the crowd, you will get the same results the crowd will get. You want different results, acting unexpected ways. And it's risky, I know, but it's adventurous as well. Isn't life about that? Having adventures? For me, it is. I could stay at a single company, like most boomers will advise me. Hey, stay at this company.
Yeah, because boomers stay working at the same company like 40 years or 50 years, their whole lives.
Yeah, our parents come from that
It's
generation, and they
I could
think
never do
that the
that.
job market is working the same nowadays. But the landscape has changed completely. You cannot rely on a single job. And millennials, Gen Zs are more likely to switch jobs, become job hoppers. And I think I read an article online that said that the newest generations will change careers 10 times during their work life. 10 times. Imagine having to work 30 years. Eventually, we will be working all our lives, but let's say in the best case scenario, we work 3 decades. That's 10 different careers. I'll be a plumber, then a dev, then a cinematographer, who knows, then a chef.
Yeah, but why not? What something that I really admire from Gen Z is that
But you're a Gen
I
Z.
saw, yeah, but I'm kind of in the middle. Uh, I was born just when everything was changing from the millennials to the Gen Zs, so I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know which one I am, but I think I'm more that Gen Z. I don't know, but I saw a video of a Zoom call. It went viral actually. I don't know if you saw it, but
Yeah, I watched it. The girl who was fired and she recorded
no, no, no,
her being
no,
fired.
no, no, no. It was a Zoom call with it was the boss. It was a lady, and this guy that was working for her. I don't really know the context. What was he supposed to do or anything? No, but she called him. They were talking. They were in the meeting, just the two of them, and then he turned off his camera so she couldn't see him anymore. And she was like, I can see you. I need to see you to talk to you. We haven't finished yet. And he turned on the camera again. He was a Gen Z. And he told her, you know, I don't know, I don't remember the name of the lady, but he said, you pay me to work for you from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's already 2 p.m. I need to go. And she says, okay, but we're not finished with the project. We have to finish this. And he's like, I'm sorry, but I have other responsibilities. You told me this is my time to work, and now I'm done because it's 2 p.m. and I have to go. And he left. And he had the courage to do that. And most of the people, from my perspective, even myself, I wouldn't be able to do that. I had many times when I was on a meeting and I had to go. It was late and I had other things to do. I had plans, I had responsibilities as well, but I didn't say anything. I could have said, hey, you know what? It's, how do you say when it's time to go from work?
I gotta go home.
Out of office, right? I gotta go. I work until this time, and it's already this time, whatever time it is, and I gotta go, But I never had the courage to say that, and they smell your fear, They know
Yeah,
they know that you
that's true.
fear them, and they take advantage of that.
Yeah, I remember I had an anecdote when I worked at a bank. I really had to go. My schedule was from 9 to 5, I believe. But one of the managers came downstairs to our area. She wanted to say something. I don't remember what it was. But I had a compromise at 5:30. I really had to go. So while she was speaking, I really checked my phone quick. And she noticed that. She said, hey, are you in a hurry? But she was really upset. She didn't take into consideration that it was time to go already. She would have kept talking for hours if nobody had said that. I said, I'm just looking at what time it is. And she was really pissed. That was psychological manipulation. The irony is that she asked some questions. I don't even remember what she was talking about. But when she asked that open question to the group, nobody answered. And she then said, are you unable to speak? What happened to you? And I was so angry because
Oh,
I
because
said
you
to
didn't
myself,
answer.
because nobody answered her.
Oh,
Yeah, everyone was quiet, and she
wow.
said, well, are you unable to speak? She didn't say, are you afraid? But it was really insulting because she was acting threatening towards us. How was she expecting us to give her a response, an honest response, if she was speaking with that threatening way? And if you're a manager, you're supposed to create an environment in which you feel comfortable to share your feelings, how you honestly feel, but nobody would do that. And I especially felt that when she attacked me with that comment of whether I am in a hurry. And that's a toxic place to work at when employers don't respect your boundaries. And in the worst case, if they see you setting boundaries, they will fire you. They want people who are yes men, who will work 80-hour work weeks, who will take the job as a first priority. People who don't have any social circle, who don't need to sleep 8 hours a day. Their only commitment is increasing profits for the company's owners, for the shareholders. And if you look at the situation that way, it makes no sense. You're killing yourself, you're sacrificing the best years of your life, working so that the owner can buy a bigger yacht next year.
And then they say that they don't have funds and they cannot give you a raise or can't.
Oh, yes, they can.
Yeah.
They can give you a raise. And that happens all the time with corporations. For example, those big companies, let's say Walmart, one of the biggest retail companies in the US, could pay $30 an hour to its employees, but they don't do that because they have the power to pay whatever they want. They know people are desperate. There are people who are living in their cars. They finish their shift at Walmart and they go back to their cars, sleep in the parking lot because they cannot afford paying rent. That's how terrible the situation is. And companies don't care. They say, we are not forced to pay you an enough high wage so that you can have a decent life. We will pay you what the market rate pays. And if that is not enough for you to buy food, it's not a problem. You know why corporations act that way? Because corporations are soulless entities. They don't have empathy. Shareholders don't have empathy. They only care about increasing their portfolio gains.
And you might think, because I used to think the same way, you might think, no, I mean, I can't believe this. I don't believe that people, like, for example, I don't know, the owner of Walmart would say that. But the sad truth is that they don't care. They just care about money. And it's really, really sad. And it's like the reality. That's the reality. And sometimes you don't want to see it, but that's the truth.
Yeah, the incentives of the system are broken, and they have always been broken, especially since central banks, the Federal Reserve was created. The incentives are wrong. If your main incentive is making profits, no matter the consequences, people will create poisons. And if that poison that kills millions of people, whatever it is, whether it's a chemical, alcohol, an addictive application so that you can watch ads all day, if that makes money, someone will do it. And many of these activities should be illegal, but those corporations are so powerful that they lobby congressmen so that they can do as they please. And there's no way out of it, at least in the short term. It's either you survive in the system trying to adapt how you live, trying to do the least harm, or the other option is become a hermit, which is becoming increasingly difficult these days. Someone will find you, will say, are you owning this land? If not, you cannot live here. That's a very extreme solution. Some people have chosen to do that. I've heard about a case of an Argentinian guy who lived in the Patagonia, in the south of Argentina, alone with his dog. He grows his own food. Nobody can do that. Well, he did, but most people can't. They have families. It's a radical change. Your only option is either you become super powerful, a politician who can change, the course of the system, which is practically impossible. It will take many generations to achieve a shift that benefits most people instead of the elite. After the pandemic, you saw the biggest transfer of wealth from everyone to the 0.001%. So you have to survive. And if the nature of the system rewards you for anything that makes money, you have a moral choice. You have an ethical choice. Are you more interested in making money? Are you going to do bad things so that you can make money?
Most of people do.
Yeah. They only care about their inner circle, family, not even friends, their kids, wife, and that's it. If they are destroying the environment, poisoning the population, it doesn't matter. So everyone is in their bubble, trying to survive, taking care of themselves, but that harms society a lot. And the other option is not good either. You would say, okay, if capitalism is not the solution, what about communism? The problem is that communism tends to create a hierarchical structure as well, so that you will have a dictator at the top who will have all the privileges, and you will lose your freedom anyways. in paper, communism sounds good, and that's what I talk about in one of my videos about Animal Farm, that book from George Orwell, about a tyrannical system which starts looking good. Hey, equal rights for everyone, but then you start to see the real face of that dictator and rules change. In a short time, you see yourself starving, and the elites are enjoying themselves, as they do with capitalism. Is this how life works, either, no matter what happens? Because history has repeatedly taught us that all societies work as hierarchies. It seems that it's part of nature, that there's always at the top who takes all the cake, and for the rest of the people there's crumbles. Maybe we should accept that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we don't have jobs, and we don't have a plan either.
Yeah, but if
But
you
we're gonna
learn
be
skills,
okay.
we'll be okay if we learn skills and we offer value. That's what the system rewards you for. If you do something valuable, you will get rewarded in paper. In reality, influences, contacts will be responsible for making people wealthy, lobbying important people so that you can get a monopoly. If you're a businessman and you screw everyone else, like Walmart does, for example, right? They have driven out of business millions of small mom and pop shops, mini markets, and your only option now is buying from Walmart, Costco, these big retailers. But I believe that there are some niches, small niches, where we can do ethical things. If not doing good, if not adding value, at least not doing harm.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that we believe in. Um, we don't want to hurt anyone whatever we're doing. We, as you said, we want to add value. That's why we also do this kind of videos talking about these things, because it's really rare to see a trending video talking about these things. It's
Yeah,
just it's something that's trending is just to make you look the other way and to distract you.
they just want to sell you something. They wanted to use the affiliate link so that they can get a piece of the profits from that product they are promoting, which is not bad. If the product they're promoting adds value, it's not bad. But most people in YouTube are there for the money, right? And you need to find something that makes you money. Otherwise, how are you going to sustain yourself? You need a source of income. As long as money exists, you need to find a source of income. Okay, I think that's all. We didn't talk much about quitting our jobs. I didn't want to go too much into detail because I appreciate certain things of the job, right? Fortunately, it was something related with my hobbies,
With your passion.
with something that I enjoy doing, which is writing code. I like writing code, but for most people, that's not the case. They will do something that they hate. If you do something that you love, you're the lucky 0.5% that work in something that they like doing. That's not the case for most people. So in that regard, I cannot complain. I was lucky. But it
But
wasn't
you
giving.
usually complain. Because
Yeah, but not because
you're
of.
making me look bad because I
No,
complained a
come
lot.
on.
Of course, my job was also had a good part, right? But we were talking about quitting and why we quit.
Not every
That's
job
why.
is perfect. Not every job is perfect, you know. There will be always something that you don't like about your job, that it's boring, repetitive, whatever. But if the gist of the job is something that you like, I don't see why you should complain. Well, and going back to why I quit, I just want something new. Okay? I just want something new. Learn new things and going against the current. I was really angry that most people are afraid of quitting their jobs because they are being propagandized by YouTube or other sources saying a recession is coming. If you have the chance to quit and do something else, go ahead and do it. I won't ever be as young as I am right now. So I just want to take some days off, climbing mountains, driving my bike, whatever that I do alone or with you. We could travel somewhere interesting.
And take a break, right?
Yeah, take a break. You're not forced to.
Unless you have you have to pay a debt or you have children.
Yeah, that's another topic, right?
Yeah, we don't have children. We don't owe, so we kind of had it easy some way. Not really. That's not really the word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we had those debts, responsibilities, children, we would be grabbed by the balls. we wouldn't have any chance. We would be stuck with our jobs, paying our mortgage. And personally, I don't like any of those things. I like to have choice. Even if I'm not rich, if you don't compromise yourself with those traps from the system, especially debt, you can enjoy your life more. You have choice. Come on. Isn't that great? Even if you're not making a lot of money, you can say, okay, I want something else. And they cannot say no. At least you have that freedom. Maybe it's not full freedom because maybe your only option is to get another job and you wouldn't call that real freedom. But at least you're not stuck with the same environment, doing the same things. And you can do a refresh to your life and change things a little bit and make it more interesting.
Okay, I think we talked a lot. It's gonna be almost 40 minutes.
Yeah, we will keep you updated about how our quitting our jobs went. It will go well, I hope. Let's be positive. We don't want to be nihilistic. That's the worst thing of all. I've been there, by the way. Don't be there, never. And have a good weekend, people.
See you later. Bye.
Goodbye.